All right, family, welcome back to another episode of the Millennial Gems Podcast. It is your host, KILLA, and today, very special guest with me. I've known this gentleman, my gosh, what is it, date back almost 10, 15 years now.
Mm-hmm. 04.
04? What was it, like third, fourth grade?
Yeah, fourth grade, yeah. That's when I joined.
Okay. Right. Anyway, this guy here, man, we've been together for some time, been good friends for quite a while. Definitely seen him on his journey, from like fourth grade, elementary school through, middle school, a little bit of high school. We went to rival high school, so a little bit there. College, we were kind of separated a little bit more, but, still saw each other on like Christmas break and stuff like that in summertime. And then, once we kind of graduated, linked up like every now and then, but I love what he's doing, and today we're going to really just get into how we've been able to improve from like our fourth grade years to how we are now as gentlemen. So without further ado, today my guest is Treyvon Clegg.
Hey,
What's
man,
going on, Chief?
I'm good, man. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here. I mean, it's all love, man, on this side. So I appreciate you again for having me. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to chop it up. Do what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So, again, for those who don't know, we started a podcast actually earlier this year. It was a 3-man thing.
Yeah.
But one of the questions that I wanted to ask, that I think you'll know this, but I got this from Brandon Marshall and them on I Am Athlete. About I label it as PMB is what I like to ask the guests. PMB. So on a scale of 1 to 10, just tell me, like your week or like over like the past month, how have you been doing, mentally, physically, and then, just your brand wise, business wise, like scale of 1 to 10.
Okay. Scale of 1 to 10 personally, I would say I am at I want to say 10. Reason being is, for those who do not know, I am now having a son, and just hearing that news a couple of weeks ago, 20 weeks ago, that was the best news I've ever heard. So it's always been my dream to become a father. I've been dreaming of this moment since forever, and now that it's really here, and it's just so real. You know what I'm saying? Just me. Personally, it kind of fuels me with everything I do. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It fuels me in my business, fuels me just physically. I just want to be the best version of myself for him when he's here on earth. And but no, I think so. I would definitely say 10 because again, that's by far the best news I've ever heard. You know what I'm saying? So that's got me on cloud 9. But in terms of business, I would say. I want to say probably about an 8. Reason being is, I think right now I'm at a downtime right now, only because, with all of the clients that I usually work with on a day-to-day basis, they're all in school right now. And so right now I kind of get to watch the players, whether it's on TV or whatever type of stream they're doing it on. I kind of get to see the fruits of their labor and the work that they put in. And hopefully, with all the work that I put in the summer, I'm able to, kind of like literally kick back and relax and watch it and be a fan of their game. That, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's an honor to see, like I go to ESPN Plus or whatever, I see like some of the girls I used to train and I'll text them before the game. I'll text them after the game. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Just little stuff like that. I really appreciate it. I know they appreciate it too. Any way I can support, I would do that. Only reason why I didn't give it a 10 out of 8 is, again, it being a down year because I love being in the mode of just constantly training every single day. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm kind of like taking a break and kind of just using this time to really get some new ideas. How can I make different routes more, different than another basketball training, just brand or whatever it may be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So we gonna get into that. Before we touch on different routes, I just want to kind of kind of get like a little bit more like background on you. So like
Mm-hmm.
obviously like like we mentioned, like I've known you since like fourth grade,
Right.
and we both know each other. We're very athletic and stuff like that. So
Right. Right.
for myself, I've never really mastered a particular sport because
Mm-hmm.
I was always putting my hands in different sports. Like
Right. Right.
I was always like very like inconsistent. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would play a season, but then next season I'm going off to something else, and
Right.
then I'm going off to something else, and
Mm-hmm.
then maybe at some point, maybe like a year and a half will go by, and then I'll circle back around to it.
Right.
So I never actually was consistent with picking like a sport that I wanted to like commit 100% of my time and give
Mm-hmm.
100% to.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that sport for you now, and why is it that sport for you now?
Definitely basketball, for sure. The reason being is just I just love the game. You know what I'm saying? I love the game of basketball. I think it's a beautiful game. Um, my son's name is Mello. You guys can
Wait, seriously?
That's my son, that's my son's name. Like literally named after my favorite basketball player of all time, who is obviously Carmelo Anthony. And it's just again a game that I fell in love with. I would say starting my freshman year of high school, and then I just kind of like took it from there. And I was played high school, played a little bit in college, and ever since then I just been falling in love with it. You know what I'm saying? And I really just fell in love with the player development side of it. That's like more of a joy that I get. You know what I'm saying? Seeing players actually get better, and I'm like wow, like what I'm teaching is actually helping you. So being a teacher in that aspect is really just pretty dope to me. So that's the sport I'm doing. So
Right, okay. So this brand here, different routes.
mm-hmm.
So what I guess I want to ask is just what led to you coming up with the name? Like what led to coming up
Mm-hmm.
with different routes? Like what does different routes like stand for? Like what is that?
So it came about in college, and my thing is, as an athlete, in this particular case, a basketball player, we all want to get to the end goal, and the end goal isn't necessarily like the NBA or the WNBA. It's just to get to the next level. So if you're in high school, your end goal is to get to college. If you're in college, your end goal is to get to possibly semi-pro or overseas or NBA. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I really want to emphasize not just being different, you know what I'm saying, and not taking the same path that someone else is taking, because your path is going to be completely different than the person next to you. You know what I'm saying? But the end goal still remains the same. And I just want to normalize and make it okay for people to take different routes. You know what I'm saying? Some paths might be harder. Some paths might be, well, I would say more given to them, or they might have more of a privilege in that aspect. And I just want kids to know, like, listen, like you can get, like, if you want to like really chase that dream, if you have a dream to play at that higher level, play at the next level, you can do so. But just know that your path is going to be, different, no pun intended. And that's just what I really want these young athletes to know. Like, I think we live in a world, and this is really where it came from. We live in a world where if we see an athlete on social media and we see the way that he lives, that he's living in Palm Springs, got a nice little mansion. He's a freshman in high school. He got the latest Jordans. He got a rollie on his wrist and all this good stuff, and he's got a first class ticket to Duke. You know what I'm saying? But that's not realistic for a kid coming out of Mattapan or Dorchester. You know what I'm saying? But does that mean that kid from Mattapan or Dorchester can't go to Duke? Absolutely not. And that's where different routes comes in. Like, yo, we can get there. Just know that it's not going to come from a place where it's handed to you. You're going to have to get out the mud with this one. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what different routes is really about. Getting out the mud and making it happen.
Earned, not given. Understand that?
Exactly.
So who is like your specific audience? Like, I know you're talking about like athletes here, but I just want to know like who is like your specific, like what's like that age group, or like who is that audience for you that you focus on?
So
with this
specifically, I would say it would range between the ages of, I want to say, starting at maybe like 12, 13, all the way up until whenever. I don't care if you're 50. If you can hoop, I'll train you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not. I don't really like to put a cap on age or whatever. But I do like to target that pro, college, high school level like the most.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
if a 38-year-old NBA vet came up to me and said, "Yo, like I want to get some work," I'm definitely not going to turn you down. You know what I'm saying? I just think that with the population that I'm more like familiar with because of my age, like with the high school kids and the pros who are the same age as me, or even the college kids who are a little bit younger, like 22, 21, whatever. I try to, that's like my basic like age range that I focus on the most. But I really don't put a cap on it. If you're willing to, come get this working, by all means, let's work. You know what I'm saying? Don't matter what age
Heard
it is.
you.
So
what's different routes end game? Like, what's the bigger picture around your brand?
I like that question. So I tell myself this all the time. You know what I'm saying? Just always speaking things to existence and speaking things into faith. My end goal for different routes would be what's a couple things. One, I would love to be on an NBA team as a professional player development coach.
Okay.
I always say like, I'm going to be right behind Joe Mazzulla in a green little tech suit, telling Jason like, come on, man, we worked on that yesterday. We got to, what I'm saying, do something like that. But or whatever team it may be. But that's definitely a goal of mine that I would love to have, just to be able to travel with the team. And then another goal is to have my own gym in my own different routes facility where players of all levels, college, JUCO, high school, middle school, pro, whatever it may be. I just want them to come to a nice state-of-the-art facility where they can get some work in during their off season, and that's really it. So that's really the end goal. Have my own gym, and to hopefully one day be on an NBA player development coaching team. So that's the end goal.
Okay. So during this, I should say during during like the time that you were taking to build up to different routes and even where you are now, what have you learned about yourself and what do you feel like you're still learning about yourself at this current moment?
That's a good question. I like that. No, I mean, I think throughout this whole journey, I've just learned that I would say that I'm pretty persistent in what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not easily going to just give up or throw in the towel when some hardships or adversity come along. I've stayed with it for a long time, and I think what I really want to pat myself on the back is that I really do. I think I do a good job of really like keeping the love of the game and not really thinking of it so much as a business. I really look at the client as as a person and not a number per se. You know what I'm saying? Like I really look at him or her and just like, what I really want to build and like just be who I needed when I was their age. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really the big motivation behind it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm learning about myself. Like, I really think that comes to me naturally. Like I could really like not. I don't want to be just Coach Trey to you. I want to be like Big Bro or something like that, like a mentor. Or
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But something that I know you asked the second question in terms of something I'm still learning. That would be mainly the business side of it and really like learning the industry. I really want to just kind of just make sure that I am, because again, I want to make some revenue and I want to make sure that I want to generate that the most efficient way possible. Like I don't want to just be out here wasting time because now, with my son and with my wife, every decision that I make financially is not only going to affect me, but it's also going to affect them. You know what I'm saying? I want to leave generational wealth for my son. You know what I'm saying? So now I want to make sure that, and it's not even just for me. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's for my son. Yes, it's for my wife. But every single penny that I get from these clients is going to go back to them. because I'm literally going to start investing inside a gym. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be for them to use. Like it's not me. You know what I'm saying? It's for them. So I just really like learning the numbers and really just getting everything written down on what's the best way efficiently on how to make money. You know what I'm saying? If that's doing a couple of clinics in the summertime just to generate some revenue like really, really fast, then hey, so be it. You know what I'm saying? That's just on top of the head, but just really learning the numbers and really just getting down to the nitty gritty stuff of logistical stuff of what to do in the behind the scenes, to get my business going.
Cool. All right. So if you don't know already, this is a self-improvement podcast. So what I have to ask is what do you do to, make yourself a better man every day? Like what are some things that you do that when you wake up in the morning, like, all right, these are the things here that I got to get done. What are some things that you do to help, get better as a man every day?
Number one has to be prayer. That's the first thing that came to my mind. It has to be prayer. If I don't feel right not going about my day without praying. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the first thing I do. Just giving thanks to God for everything that He's done, and because I'm just truly blessed, especially with the greatest miracle in my eyes with that my son living inside my wife right now, and just I'm just thankful, man. Like I can't, and just giving thanks and showing gratitude to him. You know what I'm saying? And I think just again, it all starts with just taking care of yourself. I'm always a big advocate for self help and self love. You know what I'm saying? And then really just taking time to yourself. I think we could get caught in the motion of things like going to work, paying bills, and going home, go to sleep. Like you get just caught in that rotating
cycle,
like that hamster wheel. You just keep going and going and going. But I think if you just take time to just go for a walk or listen to some music or clean. My thing is I love to like clean the house. Like that's my form of therapy. Like if I just like clean the house nice and tight, I just feel accomplished and my mind is cleansed almost. You know what I'm saying? So doing stuff like that. And I think lastly, I would say is just really just taking time to, and again, not to get all like preachy or whatever, but really taking time, especially with my wife, to read the Bible every single day. We read 2 chapters a day. Just make it consistent because who can't read 2 chapters a day? For me, I think that's sustainable and it's something I can do every single day. So me and my wife literally dedicate ourselves to just, read a proverb. That's the book of wisdom. And then we also read the one chapter in the New Testament. So 1 chapter in Proverbs, which is the book of wisdom, and then 1 chapter in the New Testament. And then we just sit there, reflect, pray, and that's really it. Those are things they're essentials. Can't go without it.
I definitely tried the whole reading like a proverb, like every like Sunday I try to like be very consistent, and I kind of fell off with doing that, but I would like always like just read like one proverb every Sunday and would just I was doing pretty good. Like I managed to do it. I kept up with it for about, I want to say maybe like a month or so, and then I don't know. I just kind of just
because there's 31 books in the Proverbs, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so you can read one chapter a month.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, or a day for the month. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I definitely gotta make sure I get back on that.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Man. So I have a little segment called Game. So it's
okay.
For now, it's Gems About Me.
Okay. Gems about. I like that.
I try to be a little clever with it.
I like that. Not stuff. I like that. Games.
So anyway, so I'm just gonna either ask like whether a statement or a question, and you just answer it to best of your ability, or just fill in the blank with it. So, first one is, my name is, and I am.
My name is Treyvon, and I am. First thing that came to mind, I am a follower of Christ.
Okay. First thing I do in the morning is
pray.
Early bird or night owl?
Oof, night owl for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, I hate
you really are a night owl?
Yes, I hate the mornings. For real.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't think I ever would have guessed that. Yeah. Have you always been a night owl?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I get most of my work done at like 10 o'clock at night. Like you know what I'm saying? Like my mind is like going at 10, so I'm like, all right, here we go.
Okay.
You know
Oh,
what I'm
I
saying?
didn't know that. All right. To cope with stress,
Man, that's good. To cope with stress, I would say work out, like do something like physical activity, or either that, pray. Either I'm talking to God or I'm talking to my wife. One of the
Mhm.
two. So that's it. Yeah, to cope with stress.
All right. Top three things. This is kind of a little bit of a curveball, but
Yeah.
top three things you love about your spouse.
Ooh, but the wifey.
Yeah.
Uh, Number one would be she is how intelligent she is. Like she is like just very just book smart, street smart. Like she just has like her brains are up there. Um, Number two, I would say just her attractiveness. You know, I just love just her physical attributes. I love everything about that. That's again the first thing I seen. You know what I'm saying? Just her pretty face. You know what I'm saying? All that. So obviously that, and just her. She's so. This is okay. So she's very very big hearted. You know what I'm saying? That can be a blessing and a curse, but we could talk about that another day. But it's she just loves really really hard. You know what I'm saying? Like and
Okay.
it almost gets her in trouble sometimes because not everybody's gonna give that same energy back to her. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And she's fell victim to that, but that still doesn't stop her from even when people do her wrong, she's still like, "Do you need any help? Like I'm still here. Like the door's still open." You know what I'm saying? But she's learning now that to set better, or not better, but healthier boundaries to protect
Hmm.
herself. But yeah, her love for others is like undeniably like it's just amazing to see. You know what I'm saying? So it's impressive actually.
I heard you. All right. One last thing. When I die, I want to be known for.
Hmm. I want to be known for someone who took care and loved his family, um, who always put God first, and made an impact on my community. Not even my community. Yes, it starts there, but
Mm.
I've always said to myself like I want to make an indent on this world. I want to make a huge impact on this world. Like I tell a short little story. Like when I was working security, I had to do like a little tour, basically, just to check the building, make sure it's all good. And it was a 20-story building. So when I got to the top floor, I could see like all of Cambridge. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, you know what? This might not happen now, but there's somebody like within this city, like I'm just looking down at the skyline, whatever. There's somebody in this city whose life I'm gonna impact. I don't know who it's gonna be, but I'm gonna impact multiple people, not only here, but the earth. So I just want to be known as someone who just changes lives for the better. You know what I'm saying? Give someone a new perspective, give someone a new sense of life, like or new motivation. You know what I'm saying? I would say that's my biggest thing.
I like that. I
Leave a
like
mark.
that. So, what is the most powerful gem you've ever received?
Most powerful gem I ever received
Yes. Like, what's
was
something that.
I would say by I would say setting healthy boundaries. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, I just think that right there like really saved me a lot of potential hurt and pain if I hadn't set those healthy boundaries. I just think that you know growing up, and you might be able to relate to this. I don't know, but whoever's watching, but we might we always you always hear like like family first, and you already know my stance on that, and you always hear that kind of stuff. And my thing is, well, it shouldn't be family first. The most important person on this earth should be you. And that's another gem that I
Yes.
heard from a pastor that I heard from a while back, like years ago. He said because he asked the whole crowd, everybody, get in your mind, like imagine in your mind who's the most important person to you. And my thing, I'm like, mom, dad. what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody else think the same
typical
thing.
family members. Yep.
And then the pastor said, "How many of us said mom?" I said, "Me." And then he said, "How many of us said dad or sister or brother or whatever?" You know what I'm saying? And he said, "Wrong. The most important person in your life should be you." And that's always stuck in my heart. Like since then, I was back in like 06, I would say, and that was that right there. It's just, and that just ties it back to setting healthy boundaries. Setting boundaries, and it's another gym. Setting boundaries is a form of self love. You know what I'm saying? It's putting yourself first and knowing that you're not going to take this BS because you love yourself that much or too much to go through that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is definitely the best. I actually received that gem, if you want to call it that, from a therapist. You know what I'm saying? She said you have to set these boundaries because if you don't, you are going to ride this emotional roller coaster for the rest of your life until you say enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely a gem the best gem that I've received by far. And I'm going to carry that forever.
All right. Wait. So did you just say that something about you went to therapy?
Oh, absolutely.
Can you currently do therapy now?
Currently, no. About a year ago, I did.
Okay.
Just again, I was going through a very, very, very difficult time with my family. Just kind of trying to navigate what was going on. Because again, to keep it brief, my mom had walked out on me. Being 27, 26, however old I was confused on why that happened. I didn't really know what that meant. You know what I'm saying? So I started talking to my mom for about 2 years, and again, I was an emotional just wreck. I didn't know, what to do with myself. So me and my wife decided to get therapy, and we went that route, and that, bro, I tell you right now, like that is the best thing I could have done because that therapist just helped me see things. Because when you're going through family issues, it wasn't only just affecting me; it was also affecting my wife because she was also getting, disrespected and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, if I didn't receive a therapy, I don't think I would have had the guts to actually make that phone call to my mom 2 years later. Because I called her, I said, you know what, I'm just going to call her. Let's see what happens. And she answered. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, things were awkward and tense, but literally like 30 minutes into the conversation, we're good. That same week, she's at my house. You know what I'm saying? Now I call her damn near every day now. You know what I'm saying? Like me and my mom have a very, very tight relationship. You know what I'm saying? And just I think that not only to Corey and to God, but that therapist played a pretty good role in that. Just helped me see things from a different perspective because I was ignorant and I was just like so. You know how you are. You know how I am. When anybody is really when they're bottled up with pain, you don't want to hear nothing from nobody. You don't want to receive no help. You could be stubborn sometimes. But Corey really helped me.
Be in your own way.
Exactly. So I put that to the side, and I was able to get that therapy, and it worked out in the long run. So
cool. I'm glad you touched on that. So now, how important do you feel it is for people to seek therapy that are like dealing with like these types of like situations, these type of like traumas and stuff like that? Like
bro,
how important do you feel like
this is a cold world, man. Like life happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially like for me personally, I've experienced like some people experience loss. Some people, and they grieve, and for me, it was just toxic family members within my environment. You know what I'm saying? And I just was like, I need to find a way to fix this, and whatever the problem may be. Therapy is such a beneficial thing because it's only helping you. Again, a form of self-love. Not only setting boundaries, but getting therapy is a form of self-love, putting yourself first. And I think that this whole family first mentality is not real. That's not a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like because my thing is, and again, I've said this before on the On Display podcast. Like if your cup is empty, how can you pour into somebody else? You know what I'm saying? Like if you really want to affect and love on people, you have to fill up your cup first. Do the things that make you happy and make you joyful. Because if your cup is empty and people are requesting like, hey, Treyvon, can I have this? Akila, can I have this? And your cup is empty, everything you do to the people who are taking, you're gonna do it out of bitterness and out of just like hate because you're gonna be like, I don't like. If Akila asks me to move and my cup is empty, I might help you move, but I'm gonna do it with an attitude, and that's only gonna ruin our friendship. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
if I worked out that morning and Akila asked me to help him move out the house or whatever, yeah, let's do it. You know, I'm pumped up. I took care of myself this morning. I had a good meal. You see what I'm saying? That's a small
Right,
little
right,
example, but you see where I'm
right.
getting at. And so, but
Mhm.
nah, man, therapy is so important, man. I just think that everybody, you know, regardless if you're going through an issue or not, I think it can help you navigate when those issues do come because again, life happens. And when you are going through an issue, like again, you're not alone. You're not alone because there's professionals out there who can help you out and navigate it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think there's this like notion that therapy is just people taking your money, listening to you talk about your problems,
Right.
but that can be a really beneficial thing to you just to let it all out because you don't want to keep those traumas and those
Right.
um,
Right.
emotional and sometimes physical like abuse like in your heart. You know what I'm saying? You want to let it out and get it out there. So I
Yeah. No.
strongly, you know, recommend it.
It was definitely. I know there was definitely a time for myself. I never like. I don't dog therapy, but
Mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm.
there was a point in time where I was like, I don't feel the need to ever get
Mm-hmm.
therapy because I'm
Right,
like,
right,
I don't believe that this person here can help me with my problem because
right,
they're not going through the problem.
right.
I
Yeah,
am.
they ain't
So
there
it's
with you.
like I can. This is my problem to solve. So
Right.
I've always
Mm-hmm.
kind of just looked at like I said, I never just dog therapy. It was like nah, just f therapy and
Right,
man, like
right, right.
who really need therapy? Like I was never like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I always kind of just like was just like somebody suggests I'm like
Right, right,
mm, no, I think I'm good. I'll figure it out. Like
right,
that's how I was how I've always been.
right.
Even now, like I just like I I currently don't go through anything right now, and
Yeah,
I have my ways of like coping with things. Like I've
yeah.
very much like I've done therapy like one time, but I mean that's because my my little sister she has one,
Right.
and so like after that one session like that session really like
Mm-hmm.
tore me apart. Like that
Mm-hmm.
one session, but it was great though. It was great because it was just
Right.
like
It was needed.
something had happened before my sister had moved to LA,
Mm-hmm.
and you know between me and her when we was at it was a family little outing and something happened between me and her and kind of just went undressed
Right.
unaddressed for
Right.
a good period of time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so when we got there, well, that one session in therapy, it was just yeah, everything came out.
Right.
It was a
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
tough one.
I've been there, man.
It was
I've
tough.
been there. But I'm just again, family. It's crazy because due to my experience, I grew up with my family talking about, oh, family can hurt you the most. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're right. You know what I'm saying? But now, now, now that I'm 28, I listen to that and I'm like, that's absolutely true because you don't expect it from them. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the ones who nurture you and take care of you and who are always with you, since day one. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think that again, therapy and therapists they help you see like okay, like yes, that's your family, but they're also people, and people are they have the ability to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's on purpose, sometimes it's not. But they have the ability to do that because we're all human. We all fall short sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And we all say things that we don't need to say or do things that we don't need to do. And it is what it is. Just because you're family, you don't get a pass. Just because you can hurt me or step all over me, just because you're family. Like no, like and therapy really helped me see that. You know what I'm saying? Because I had that family first mentality for the longest, but it's not that anymore. Now, is family important? Yes, they're just not first. I'm first. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And I'm really glad that you know, got therapy as well. You know what I'm saying? I think especially young black men, we need to get therapy. I'm glad, and I'm also glad I got therapy before Mello came into my life. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to bring all my traumas onto him. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Because
right.
babies aren't dumb. They sense that they feel like what's the tension in this house? Like it feels different. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want that for Mello. And I prayed about this time and time again. Like I am not. I'm me. I tell Cordes every day. Like we are going to break generational curses. You know what I'm saying? Like what my family put us through was not okay. Some of my family put us through. When I say us, I mean Corey and I. That's not happening here. That ends here. Like, I'm breaking this generational curse. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to emotional abuse, or when it comes to narcissism, or when it comes to whatever it may be, I'm dead in all that. You know what I'm saying? And
There you
so
go.
my Mello will never know what it feels like to have what I have. But he is going to know what it means to be nurtured and to be cared for and to be loved on. You know what I'm saying? And to be supported. That's what he's gonna be known for. And that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? So that's that.
I feel that. No, that's real, my brother.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
So I know in the earlier I had asked you like what you do to help self improve like every day. So
Right.
I just want you to kind of just tell like the audience like what are some like resources that you would like recommend for helping get better all around, whether it's just as a man, as a person, as an athlete,
Right.
just like Kara, I would say father, but you're kind of still in the like the very like early stages of fatherhood. So
Very early, yeah.
but definitely like just for like some like recommendations you have for just
yeah, I think
getting better and improving like your mindset like every day.
Right. I think I'll name just to name a few that came to my mind. I was listening to this one podcast. It's again self-help podcast, just like this one, and it talked about the 5 4 3 2 1 rule. And as she was talking about, I was like, like what is that 5 4 3 2 1? And she had the podcaster or whatever. She had a problem with kind of like being lazy and with procrastination and kind of like not getting things done on time or whatever like that. And she basically came up with this rule. You know what I'm saying? So when you wake up in the morning you got to get up at 5 6 o'clock in the morning, and obviously you don't really want to because you're just so accustomed to just hitting that snooze button and not waking up until 9. Mm-hmm. And so what I found helpful was, when you're laying in bed and an alarm goes off, click it off, and then you say to yourself, imagine like a rocket ship is 5 4 3 2 1, and then you take off and you just force yourself out of bed. You just force yourself out of bed. Once you're out of bed, do it again. 5 4 3 2 1. Go to the bathroom. Don't think about it. Just let it go. And basically, what that 5 4 3 2 1 method is, you're focusing on the countdown as opposed to letting the negative thoughts like stay in bed, hit the snooze button one more time. You get a couple more hours of sleep in. You're basically just saying no. Before the negative thoughts creep in, just go do it. Just go do it. Just gotta just force your body into.
That definitely sounds like it takes some discipline. I know a lot of people struggle with
absolutely, that. Absolutely, discipline is very tough.
I know
that can apply for anybody.
I definitely still have my fair share of like mornings when that alarm goes off at like 4:30.
Yeah,
I'm just like, right. Just not yet.
But 4:30 is kind of wild. That's like Navy SEAL type time. Like that's like the black.
Honestly, it's a thing. I don't know why. Like I'm just used to always being up early. It's been like I've been getting up early since childhood. Since kindergarten.
Right.
So like being up early. So like that question I asked you about being like an early bird or a night owl. I'm definitely an early bird.
Right,
like,
early bird. Right.
I'd rather start my day earlier than go into the night. Later.
Right. Still doing like, work. Right.
Exactly. Like I'd rather know that everybody else is still sleeping. Cool. Now I can get the jump start in the day. I can start my day a little earlier. It's kind of like the same. Like kind of also that also I kind of also got it from Mamba mentality. Instead of like training from like like what Kobe said. Training from 9 to 11. You take a few hours. Then you train from 2 to 4, and then take another break, and then from 7 to 9. Versus you get up at 3, now you train 4 to 6. Come home, eat, do whatever you gotta do. Now you train from 9 to 11, and throughout the whole day, how much more training you got done. Look how much more work you just got done. So like that's just kind of how I like approached it over like the last like few years. It's like if I just get up earlier, I know I can get a whole lot more done by me getting up earlier. And I know sometimes I might have to have late nights, but I try to have my day, you know, end at like 10 o'clock, like the latest, like that's absolute latest.
Right.
Because most people work a 9 to 5, and then after that 9 to 5, most people don't want to work on themselves anything, you know, especially as like being like an entrepreneur, you don't really have set hours. You got to work until the work gets done. So if I'm up at 4:30, you know, I'll set my day at 4:30, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna work until maybe, you know, what, 8, 9 o'clock. So that's just me though. Like again, like I'm I'm an early bird, and that's how it's always gonna be. All right, bro. So just before we close out, one thing I want to ask is what is one gem you would like to leave for our audience?
One gem
you would like to leave for us, for the audience.
I would say well, tying back into what I said before, to keep it very short, love yourself. You know what I'm saying? Very, very simple. Love yourself. And that can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people, but love yourself. You know what I'm saying? I think that we don't take the time to just be in the moment and just realize, like, we'll always feel hard on ourselves, like we're our own worst critic. You know what I'm saying? Well, when do we ever? That's why it's always weird. That even when you asked me the question earlier in the podcast, like what are some things that you think that you improved on, or what are some things that you love about yourself? Like that's always been like a weird question. But let's not make it weird anymore. Like love yourself. You should pat yourself on the back, give yourself some grace. Like, yo, like I really did that. You know what I'm saying? Like I really tried my best, and this is what I did. You know what I'm saying? So I think just love yourself, man, for real. Whoever you are.
I heard you. There you have it, folks. Drop your socials off. Let the people know where they can find you. You know how to get in contact with you.
Instagram, different dark routes. Keeping it simple on Instagram. Don't work on any other socials. TikTok, different routes 1, I think.
Oh yeah, but, definitely. Definitely.
So follow me on TikTok and follow me on Instagram. Those are the main platforms that I'm always on. If you're ever looking for some basketball training or know someone who's looking for basketball training, you know, feel free to DM me. Let's get to work. You know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy. Let's do it.
All right, folks. You heard it here. Stay gemmed up. Stay blessed.